Welcome everyone, my name's Dom and I finally have the courage to do my complete review on AirPods and AirPods Pro. Now, I had somebody ask me, Dom, why the hell do you do complete reviews? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Do reviews on products when they're released, not like years after. And I told him, it takes a lot of courage to do what I do. And so, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So, let's get started. So the AirPods were introduced as Apple's first wireless earbuds. Now, the initial impression of the AirPods was, well, they were goofy looking. But be Apple who they are, it doesn't matter if something's goofy or odd or strange. It always seems to end up being a success. And these were without question a huge success. People loved them. They were buying them in droves. You could not find an Apple user on the street who did not have the little white stick hanging out of their ears. With a starting price of $160, people were kind of surprised, but being Apple who they are, of course they were going to be expensive. And guess what? Us Apple people are nuts. And of course we bought them, and we bought millions of them, tens of millions of units sold to this day. Now, the sound quality of the AirPods isn't like the best by any means. There are plenty of other headphones that have way better sound, but these headphones, what made them so special, what made them so unique, what made them so popular is just because they did kind of everything, and they weren't the best at everything. What they were was compact, easy to pair. You literally just flip the little thing on the top here and bring it close to your phone and it would pair. It was like magic. They were simple to use, had some touch controls. You tap a couple times to make it do this or make it do that. You could change all the settings inside of iOS, which was really easy to do. You had access to Siri, you had a microphone. You didn't have volume controls. And to be honest with you, that was the one thing that these guys really needed. I mean, they were already capacitive, so why not just have a volume control on the side? You pop it out, you put it in your ear, just like this, and then you just slide up and down to control the volume. I don't know why they never did that. Instead, to control the volume, you had to use Siri, which I don't think anybody ever did. They probably just reached into their pocket just like I did and adjusted the volume using the rockers on the side. Now, the AirPods themselves were designed off of Apple's original EarPods, which they had introduced with better bass and it, fit the shape of your ear. It was a refresh of the classic Apple headphones that came with basically like every iPod since, the debut of the iPod back in the early 2000s. And that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. For the most part, they sat in your ear pretty well. You can walk, you can run, you can kind of shake your head, but eventually they would fall out. So they didn't really like sit in the ear nice. And with ears being as complicated as they are, I give Apple credit. I mean, the shape for the most part seems to hold up, but I know there was definitely people who did not have success keeping these things in their head for long periods of time. The carrying case that the AirPods shipped with was, it looked like this. It was basically like a little dental floss kit, but that was to Apple's advantage because these could just be easily thrown into that tiny little pocket on the side of your jeans. The AirPods were undoubtedly a smash hit, and as time has shown us again and again, when Apple does, so does everybody else. Shortly after launch, numerous companies started making their own versions of the AirPods. And this isn't a bad thing. Competition is a good thing, but none of them really ever had that Apple magic. A lot of them were good in some ways and not so good in other ways, but the overall package was always the AirPods. I would say the biggest weakness to the AirPods was the battery life. At first, the battery life on the AirPods was great. I would go entire days really without ever even having to charge the case. You pop them into the case for a few seconds, which is how the AirPods themselves would recharge, and they would last me for hours. They would make a little noise when they would start to die, and I would just switch into the other one. But this battery life degraded over time, and now, at this point, these guys are 3 years old, and they barely hold a charge for, I don't know, maybe an hour if I'm lucky. Another issue I had with these is in the Apple ecosystem, the AirPods had the ability to be paired to multiple devices simultaneously. You could quickly switch which device was using the AirPods, and this worked well. But I think this introduced some weird connectivity issues because as time went on, I would find myself taking these out of the case and they just wouldn't connect to whatever device that even they were originally connected with. So that just became like really, really frustrating, especially when you just wanted to use the AirPods that you had been using for so long. The sound quality of the AirPods was fine. It was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't excellent. They're tiny. You're not going to get, incredible sound out of something this small. I know that there are, earbuds, both wired and wireless, that have incredible sound. But again, considering everything else that came with these, the form and the function, I don't think that putting any more money into making them sound good would have made the experience better. I think Apple distributing the money to create a better headphone experience from pocket to ear to listening to back into the thing, that is what kind of defined the AirPod experience. Apple later refreshed the AirPods and introduced the AirPods 2, I guess, they were effectively the exact same thing. They just introduced a wireless charging case, which was a huge addition. On top of that, you can now get custom engraving. You could put words and stuff in, and then even later on, you were able to put emojis, which was awesome because you could like really mess with your friends. You put a poo emoji or something on it if you were giving them to them for a birthday or Christmas gift. The next successor to the AirPods were these, the AirPods. Oh God, I dropped them. The AirPods Pro. The AirPods Pro were introduced in October of 2019 with a starting price of $250. Quite a big jump from the original AirPods. But that money wasn't for nothing. They actually introduced a couple new features, which was transparency mode and noise canceling, something that the AirPods definitely could have used. Now, for those who might not be familiar, noise canceling is the device's ability to kind of nerf ambient sounds. It works really well with constant sounds like fans or engine rumbles. And while they do neutralize things like voices and sudden bangs or noises or ruffles really well, it's not like perfect isolation. But considering the size, like they did a good job. These worked out pretty well. Transparency mode was the AirPods' ability to allow sound to move in from the microphones and into your ear. So with the simple little click of the stem of the AirPod, you could effectively hear everything around you instead of having to take them out, put them in, take them out, put them in, which is awesome. But the transparency mode on these doesn't even come close to the AirPods Max ability to do transparency mode. I talked about that a bit in my incomplete review of the AirPods Max, so if you want to go check those out, you can find the link right up here. In addition, the AirPods Pro also came with a wireless charging case, which, to be honest with you, changes kind of everything. The ability to just throw these on a wireless charging pad, pop them right out of your pocket when you get home and just drop them onto a pad is awesome. It adds to the experience just enough to make them that much better. The sound quality is better, but I think that has more to do with the kind of redesign. You see, Apple ended up adding these silicone ear tips. You could actually, change them and swap them out for different ear sizes. And there was a test that you could do in an iPhone to determine how good the seal was on your ear for things like noise canceling and what have you. And so while this did improve things like sound leak and noise canceling, like the sound quality, again, was just good. But the AirPods were never about having the best sound quality. It's more about the experience. And overall, I would say they did a good job. Now, the AirPods Pro had this really cool trick too. So they had a shorter stem, right? And you can see that here. And on this shorter stem, effectively, instead of it being capacitive like the original AirPods, you squeeze this little stem. And like Apple introduced this haptic touch thing a long time ago with a different kind of vibration motor in their phones and other Apple devices. However, they simulated that effect with a sound. So it made like a weird clicking sound that was in sync with your presses. So it gave you the sensation of something vibrating or like a haptic touch in your ear when really it was just a noise. So it was a pretty cool effect. Another cool trick that the AirPods Pro could do was something called spatial audio, which was kind of a weird like surround sound type thing. So in essence, wherever your phone is positioned relative to your face, the AirPods would adjust where the sound was sounding like it was coming from relative to the phone. So let's say you were watching a movie and the helicopter was above your head, right? Well, if you were to turn your head like this, you would hear the helicopter. So it was this spatial positional audio thing that responded with the movement of your head. It's a really cool effect. And if you haven't tried it yet, definitely go try it. Is it a game changer? No. Is it a good reason to buy these? No. Is it awesome? Yes. The battery life on the Pros is also way better. Now, mind you, these are not as old as the 2017s. And now that I have the AirPods Max, I'm probably not going to use these as much. So I really can't say for certain how long these will last. But relative to how well the original AirPods did, these have performed much better. Connectivity issues, gone. The really only complaint that I have about them is because of the silicone ear tips. If you are not just cleaning your ears like there's no tomorrow, they're going to grab and hold on to every bit of wax, dirt, hair, fuzz in your ear onto the little silicone tips. And yeah, don't touch your friend's AirPods. Like it's gross. But the AirPods and AirPods Pro, as awesome as they were, in my opinion, I think Apple screwed up a little bit. You see, the AirPods were introduced along with the iPhone 7, where Apple had the courage to remove the headphone jack. This was a huge ordeal. People were not happy with the idea that they weren't just gonna be able to plug in their headphones or charge and plug in their headphones at the same time like they've been accustomed to for years with the iPhones from before. Now, I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, and I'm pretty sure everyone would agree with me, but Apple totally intentionally did this in order to sell these, right? Oh, there's no headphone jack, and here are these wireless AirBuds. And all in all, I mean, these have been a successful product, but I think Apple could have avoided the bad press by simply changing their message. See, Steve Jobs had this very interesting way of talking about how the way that Apple does things is going to make your life easier. People have freaked out about MagSafe and numerous other things that Apple has done over the years with their different products. But people found out later that, yeah, it was awesome. I think that Apple should have just embraced the fact that that's what they were doing and that they found a better way, that the corded earbud was dead and they had a better way to do it. I think if they had just taken that approach and been confident in their decision, instead of talking about how they had the courage to do what they did so they can have the additional space to put in whatever additional hardware they needed to inside of the iPhone. But the big question is, have the AirPods been worth it? Hell yeah. No, they're freaking awesome. Outside of the weird like battery issues and other stuff like that, yeah, no, they work well. I wouldn't recommend getting classic AirPods though. I would just go ahead and just put in the extra money and get AirPods Pro. I mean, you get a few more features. They do cost a little bit more, but you can often find them on sale through numerous different retailers. They seem to have better longevity. They sound a little bit better. They have changeable ear tips, which is good, which means, you know, effectively, well, as time goes on and these things wear down, the ear tips wear down, you can change them. You can change them to different sizes. I feel like you get a little bit more of a personalized experience with these. And that about completes this complete review of the AirPods and AirPods Pro, guys. I do want to do a video on kind of the history of Apple and audio with all of their recent kind of diving into audio with the HomePod and the AirPods Max and the different AirPods and their acquisition of Beats. So if you're interested in seeing a video like that, definitely throw a like on this video, put a comment down below, subscribe so you can check it out when I do launch that one. So definitely let me know. So yeah, to wrap things up, guys, like I said before, you know, please comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, talk to you soon.